Hi, this is Chuck Lavazzi. Welcome to Chuck's Culture Channel. Today, my guest is Patricia Racette, singer, director, and effective October 2025, the artistic director of Opera Theater of St. Louis, where she is currently the artistic director of the company's Young Artist programs. We'll talk about her passion for helping young singers jumpstart their careers, about the serious challenges facing the arts in this country, and about her own highly eclectic musical and theatrical background. That includes returning to one of her first loves, cabaret, with an Edith Piaf show coming to the Sheldon here in St. Louis on October 9th, 2025. We got a lot of territory to cover, so let's get down to it. Okay, Patricia Racette, before I started the recording, we talked about a number of things, but I know you said you wanted to concentrate on your vision for the future of opera and your vision as the incoming artistic director for opera theater. Let's start there.
Well, I mean, it's a mighty subject, isn't it? Anyone's vision for the future of opera, anyone's vision for the future of the art form, especially in these tumultuous times. W- what occurs to me is that making opera accessible, adaptable, and responsive to community needs is key. Um, I grew up in a household, blue collar household, had no idea about what this strange thing called opera was. Um, and if I could have spent my adult professional life embedded in this amazing, complex art form, it really speaks to exactly how accessible and how it can speak to anyone. And so I'm excited about getting that news out. Obviously, in terms of Opera Theater of St. Louis, I want to build on the work of those that came before and ensure we're always, listening and growing. And specifically, I want to discover, um, I want to continue discovering and reviving, the lesser known works and expanding into maybe some crossover and new genres more and more. Singers are being asked to sing in more than one genre, though, not just classical as it were. So that I think also will add and fortify to some accessibility issues, as well as, I want to bring back titles, the traditional canon of opera, maybe with fresh perspectives. And I want to collaborate with other companies for co-productions, not just as a practical matter of cost savings for all involved companies, but I love the collision of disciplines, the collision of information and perspectives in this art form. And I think that's what keeps it alive. I think that's what keeps it interesting. And so I'm very excited about that. And in terms of the art form, I think accessibility is key. I still think here in America there's an elitist sort of film on what opera is. It doesn't have to be that way. If we can really get people to understand how accessible it is and how amazing and unique it is unlike any other musical theater form
Yeah,
of expression through music and theater, movement, design, symphony. It's really it's so incredibly um, I wanna use the word voluptuous, but I'm not at all sure that's
not
Y
a bad image, actually.
No, exactly, exactly. It's just it's so I'm excited. I'm excited about continuing our long-held tradition of commissioning new works, and that is those are conversations that are still happening. So there's a lot still to happen, but I think community involvement, coupled with accessibility, I think we can continue to grow and listen and then adapt as needed.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know of a single arts organization right now that is not really keenly concerned about community engagement. They've done really well with that at the symphony, I know, and the rep. But yeah, that's certainly important. It was interesting to hear you talk about possible collaborations with theater companies because, of course, we've seen opera companies move more towards things like doing classic musicals.
Mhm.
Union Avenue is doing My Fair Lady.
Mhm.
On the summer, for example, they did Ragtime a couple of years ago.
Mhm. A lot of opera companies are doing that. I mean, I sang Showboat at San Francisco Opera. I sang Julie Laverne in that, and I think it's wonderful. I mean, there may be those that say, "Wait a minute, this is opera, that is not opera," but I don't think. I think they can inform one another,
Yeah.
and so in so many ways, in terms of audience recruitment, in terms of artists. And I think it's about it. For me, that's an expansion, and I think it's wonderful and it's important. Uh, so I'm excited about being at the helm in this company of guiding these title choices and partnering with Andrew Jorgensen and doing that.
Yeah. As we said before the mic went on, these are turbulent times, and it's a very difficult time to be taking over the artistic leadership of an organization like this. So, it seems to me that what we need are people with your depth of experience.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yes, I think my life as a leading lady on the world's opera stages for the past 35 plus years has given me the experiential knowledge that can immediately be applied in this position. Look, I know good singing pedagogically. I know good direction experientially. I know good design. I know good conducting. So all these experiences and 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 all this information has just been put into my treasure chest of knowledge about this art form, how it should be presented, and who should be involved. And so that to me is very exciting. Obviously, it's widening my lens quite a bit from just being, there's a mono-minded existence in being a leading lady, right? And you have to be. You have to be in that mindset. And then next, when I made my directorial debut here in 2018, I was a duck in water. I loved being in charge of the visual narrative of the story. I got, criticized from time to time as a leading lady because I wouldn't mind my own business. I was Do you really want that over there? Do you really want that, that character to do this? So and that's not a director's favorite kind of interaction, but being a director has widened that lens. Running this young artist program, again, widening the lens even more in fostering and curating the next generation.
We talked about that
Yes.
the last time we had an interview, which was probably a year ago, but
Mhm.
and about how important that is, and about how the challenges that you face with singers coming fresh out of the conservatory and suddenly running smack into theatrical reality.
Exactly, exactly. In fact, I just came right now from a group class where we address all the things, all the things, the vocal technique, stage deportment, expression, interpretation, style, language, all this, the multidisciplinary approach to this art form is so rich and needs so much constant attention. And I love working with these young artists, but also keep in mind, one of the our mission at Opera Theater of St. Louis is to be an incubator for talent. The Young Artist Program, I sort of describe that as I'm getting them ready for the launching pad. The main stage artists, they're on the launching pad, and we wanna give them flight. I want blah, blah, blah singer 20 years down the road that's enjoying successes on all the major stages around the world to have an interview where they say, "Yes, I did my role debut of" pick one, "Donna Anna," at Opera Theater St. Louis when I was just starting out. That is what I want us to be. That's exciting for me as an artistic, director. It's exciting for the company. It's exciting for our patrons, and that's a mission that I'm very very adhered to, and I think that is very special about this place. And so all the skills that I've gained throughout my years, I think, really help to inform these next steps forward for me, for the company, and I hope for the art form. Not to sound at all arrogant, but I passionately love it, and it wasn't something that I thought I was gonna passionately love.
Yes. Now, we talked about this before I started recording. You have quite a varied background. As you just said, you have a huge toolbox from your previous experience. But here's one of the things I didn't realize until I looked at your bio finally in great detail is that you and I do share one thing in common, and that's a love for and experience with performing cabaret. And you have a show that sounds absolutely fascinating, an Edith Piaf tribute show. And I'd like to talk about that a bit because I love Edith Piaf and I'm trying to learn French with some difficulty.
Eh bien, bravo.
Tell us about that because I think you're planning to do that here.
I know I'm planning to do that here. Here goes my shameless plug. My Piaf show, Patricia Sings Piaf with the great Craig Terry at the keyboard. It will be happening on October 9th at the Sheldon Theater. I am so excited about I'm excited to do that show anyway. It's an evening of just full on Piaf and I'm especially excited to do it here with my Opera Theater St. Louis family, hopefully in attendance, and the community. Um, and so I'm excited to share that evening with them. So, you mentioned we were talking before the you hit record. I did not intend to be an opera singer. Opera is the interloper in my life, she says 35 plus years later. I was interested in jazz and cabaret, and in fact, I went to a University of North Texas, that had a really strong jazz program.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty remarkable, and they have a big reputation for this, and so I went there, advised by my choral director in the high school, and, but they didn't have a voice jazz degree.
Mm.
So I was forced to study classical music while I awaited for that degree to be accredited and all that, which never happened during my tenure. But that's okay because what ended up happening is I did start taking lessons, and my teacher gave me, what did she give me? Oh, had I jewels on Miriam's tuneful voice, and I learned it. And I slammed the music down on the piano. I said, I have learned this, and I will sing this for you, but I hate it. I don't want to sing this. And so she finally sat me down. She said, listen, opera's gonna be your bread and butter. I had a natural technique that it wasn't something I had to build, and it just happened. So I went back to my dorm and cried for 3 days, and, um, and it wasn't until my sophomore year that I was sitting on the floor of my apartment then, and my teacher thought, "How am I gonna get this student hooked on this?" She gave me Senza Mamma from Suor Angelica. So okay, this is gonna date me. I got the cassette tape from the library and the score, and I opened it up and I listened to the whole thing. Renata Scotto was singing.
Ooh.
It was like a thunderbolt struck me. I thought, "Oh, this is what this art form is about." And so I did end up pursuing and enjoying wonderful success in that art form. But it was in 2004 that I returned to my cabaret. I was given the opportunity to perform at the Santa Fe Desert Chorale, some crossover stuff, I think. I'm trying to remember what the program was. And so I reunited with my first love, as it were, the cabaret, and I've been doing it ever since. And it's something for me that's returning home, that's coming full circle. Um, and so I'm really excited to be bringing that to St. Louis and to also Seattle and hopefully many more places. I just recently taught a seminar, course, whatever you want to call it, at San Francisco Conservatory of Music called Cross Genre Singing and How It Informs Classical Singing. And it was a prototype, we were trying it out, and it ended up being very, very successful. It was really taking a snapshot of how I got into opera, and that was, our shower song. We're not sitting there in the shower singing our favorite song, whatever that may be, thinking about lining up our vowels or, making sure it's legato. We're just singing from expression and with an immediacy and a naturalness. And so this course was meant to sort of demystify the approach that so many young singers take to singing opera and having them relate it to, oh, wait, I just sang this with such ease and with such a natural approach. And it really did end up being cross-pollinating, as I like to say, in terms of its information and experience. So as I said, this is coming full circle in so many ways. My vision for the company and continuing to build on the excellence we have, but also bringing in some of the cross-genre repertoire and using the artistic experience of both of these genres and how it can lift us as a company, as a community, and as an art form.
And I think that is what is going to make you maybe the ideal candidate to be taking over the artistic leadership at Opera Theater at this time, at these very, very difficult times. So, Patricia Racette, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chuck. It's lovely to speak to you again, and I appreciate your well wishing, and I'm excited for the road ahead. I know it's a little scary, but I think I'm surrounded by a pretty amazing team, so I'm highly, if not recklessly, optimistic.
Anyway, thank you so much. And everybody out there, thanks for watching and listening. Have a great life.
Thank you. Thank you.